All right. All right. I think everything is loading up. Hey, everybody. It's Jason Blaha here, just sitting here drinking my morning coffee, looking sexy as hell as usual. Trying to get the super chat goal to start. It's having a little bit of a bug there. See if it'll start the goal now. There it goes. All right. So let's see if we get a good live going. I put up a thing like I'm really and truly actually trying to unban people, but it's not letting me. So if anyone wants to be unbanned, I put a post on the community tab on the tubes. Just DM me on the Facebook fitness page, not my profile because it's going to go to the spam folder. DM me there or Instagram and just send me the link to your YouTube, and I'll unban you. All right. The only rule I have is obviously if you have hate videos about me on your page or on your channel, I'm not going to unban you. But as long as you don't have any hate videos about me, even if you are a hater, I'll be fine with it. I'll unban you. And I think that's fair. All right. Then you will be free to come in here. I'm going to ignore questions that are ridiculous, though. I think there's a point where, like, whatever Dingleberry comes in, I'm going to ignore Dingleberry's silly posts, mainly because, my channel is not about homosexual bondage. So, we can let him post, but we just won't have to answer his questions. I think that's fair. I'm just going to ignore him. Unless he can ask training questions. He only asks the same training questions, like, why am I not big yet? Like him personally. It's like, I'm squatting 225. Why are my legs not big? It's like, well, squat 500. That aside, though, good morning to you, Callum, by the way. We already got comments and likes and views in the first few minutes. That's off to a good start. It's Friday. Let's try to get a good workout in. I'm going to try to prep a bunch of chicken. Like with the amount of protein I'm eating right now, I'm going through chicken too fast. I got to cook like 10 pounds of it at once. Or 10, 11 pounds, I think, in one go. All right, just to make it through the week. That's not even a week's worth. That's the problem. I did 6 pounds last time and it's gone in like 3 days. All right, so we're eating 2 pounds of chicken breast a day. Protein overfeeding. Plus all the protein shakes. Problem is I lost a lot of my big Tupperware. It's like for me to do that much, I can't squeeze it all in the big containers. It's got to be spread out a little bit. I got to get some more. Had an interesting thing yesterday. Someone DM'd me, and I went ahead and we discussed it, and he's already paid. He's like, I don't want full coaching. I just need accountability. I want to write my own program. And it's like, well, I can work it just like the diet accountability clients, right? Which is $100 a month. So he already cash apped it over. That's an interesting, different service I can offer. Just accountability. Eventually, though, when all my traffic picks up enough on everything, I'm not going to do stuff like that. It's going to have to go back to new clients paying $300 and just full clients only. If the Facebook keeps doing what it's doing, we're going to be there again. So, but we'll see. I always grandfather people now. So for those of you who are wanting to come in, you probably want to get in while it's cheaper, because eventually I'm going to put a cap. Like if I can make everything work how I want, I'm going to cap it off eventually with like 20 clients or something. 15 one day. Like if I ever go to 300 full time and everyone's paying it, I'm probably capping it at 15 clients. I don't want to go too much into my business model, but yeah, the lives are picking up. I feel like the training is good. I caught something and it explains a lot. Like with my shoulder mobility, I still can't get the elbows even. Did you guys catch that, by the way? I caught it in the footage, in the rear facing footage, because of, again, the shoulder. I don't have the range of motion where I want it yet. I can't lock both elbows into the same position behind. So I'm going to have to do a wider grip squat if I want it to stay balanced, unfortunately. And that's okay. I get people too who are like, why don't you use the SSB? Because I don't want to use the SSB. I feel like safety bar squats are no longer a leg exercise, really. I could just deadlift. Like if I just want to make a back exercise, I can deadlift. I don't need to squat. And to me, that's all a safety bar squat turns into really quick. It's just a deadlift for me. Like my legs don't get worked. Like to an appreciable degree. Keep in mind how big of a gap there is between my safety bar and my straight bar historically, or other bars. They're up to 70, 80 pounds difference. So to me, the safety bar really just feels like a back exercise, right? It's just a trapezius and lat exercise. So what's up? I'm doing good, Big Perk. Scott says your bench is doing well. Yeah, the bench is doing good. All the tricep training is going really, really well. So I'm happy with that. I'm definitely happy with that, Scott. I can't complain on that one at all. So I'm just going to keep running with it. All right. Keep doubling down on all that tricep work. Get my arms bigger in general. All right. Focus on my big lifts, and then get my arms bigger. I'm gonna do dips again today, though. I don't want to do back off work on bench. It's like, as much as I like the back off work on bench, I feel that doing my real rep work on dips gives better carryover to my bench than doing, back off work with 245 or 250 or whatever. Plus, I can just push those up. Like really high reps feel good on dips, right? So even you start hitting 10 plus reps, it just gives a different type of burn, especially when you go all the way down. Right? It just has such a good stretch. Like that stretch it gives in the chest is really different. And because of the angle, you don't feel it in the delts. That's the problem when people are like, oh, we could just do dumbbells, but it's just a shoulder exercise. Like you don't work more chest with dumbbells. You work more delt. It's biomechanically, it's just what we know happens. Dudes can argue it all day long. Just more front delt ultimately. So the dips, though, a little bit different. Because of the angle involved, it de-emphasizes interior deltoid a little bit to prioritize chest. But then the same thing with the triceps, because that elbow gets behind the body, it hits the long head a little bit more. So dips are just an all-around good complement. So, and I've noticed that whenever I do dips, my arms tend to get bigger, my bench goes up, and it's been that way my whole life. Yeah, dips and bench will build the whole chest and probably tricep. Yeah, but I'm going to double down on the tricep work because those extensions with the easy bar, they work really well for me. Could I arguably take them out and just put a pullover in? Sure. But I feel like I've just been getting really strong on those, so I want to push it. And I mean, like I said, I may not increase weight. I might wait till I can get to sets of 20. But at this rate, I feel like 20s aren't that far. And even then, what does that do for my bench? Let's say I take what was my 10 rep max with the easy bar extension, and I've got it up to 15s now. What happens if I get it to 20s? Will that increase my bench? I feel like it will. Increase my bench lockout. Will my triceps be bigger? Because it's not like I'm using a little namby-pamby weight either, So let's say I take that 110-pound extension from the 10s that I was doing, it's up to 15s. Well, if we get it to 20s, will my triceps be bigger? I think they will. But yeah, the dips, a lot in my tricep. All right. So yeah, just keep doing that and just work the strict curls with the bicep. But yeah, those leg extensions, I don't know. I feel so much tricep in them. And if I do them with the easy bar, they don't hurt my elbows. That's a big difference too. Problem with the straight bar is that it's not just the elbow, it's all of this hurts, right? So it hurts my radial brachialis and everything, or brachial radialis. Like that actually gets inflamed from it. It just doesn't like the straight bar. Like it actually will hurt for an hour on both arms. So that's not workable. But the easy bar, I don't have that problem. Just interesting how that works. And I mean, I guess it would be different if I was using really light weights. If I was using 50 pounds, it probably wouldn't matter. But you start getting past 100. I personally just noticed that. All right. We'll see if anyone takes me up on that offer to get unbanned. Like I'm 100% serious about that. Like I'm not messing with you guys. I will unban you if you message me with a link. People want to be able to comment in here. And I think that's fair. I think the big rule needs to be, as long as you're not trying to redirect people to hate videos, I'm okay with you coming in here and talking a little trash. I don't think that's unreasonable. Just don't direct traffic away to hate videos. And I think that's a fair rule, because if someone really wants to just talk trash and they want to hate me, they're given a free forum to do it. And all they got to do is follow a couple minor rules, and they're free to just trash talk. Oh, good. They win. They get a win out of it. Until they realize it doesn't actually bother me. So it never really bothered me. It said I needed to do it for certain reasons. So we'll see if they take me up on it. What do we got going on? Nobody on Facebook this morning. But how about you guys? What's up, Big Blue? And how you doing, Callum? How you guys doing? Thanks for getting strong little views in here. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Friday workout. We hit the PR mile time yesterday. I didn't hit 8 minutes. I was hoping I would crack 8 minutes on a mile, and I got 8 minutes, 17 seconds. I put it up, but I'll take it. I wanted an 8 minute mile, but I'll take the PR. And as long as we can improve over time, that's the main thing. I'm not even worried like with my mile times or my 5K ever being elite, because I'm not an elite runner. I'm just not. But if I can just improve them over time as I get older, right, that's a win. And I think that's enough. As long as we're getting slowly better at running, my fitness is improving and my health will be improving. And that's really the key. That's what we want. All right. Hold on. Big Blue says, I'm good, man, just at work hanging out. People always point that out, like, wow, coach, you type fast. I'm like, yeah, I can type 60 to 70 words a minute. So that's why I do everything on a keyboard, not a phone. Dude, I'm horrible on a phone. Like my texting is horribly slow. But when I was in high school, I took a college prep typing course where they taught us how to speed type and actually tested. Like we were tested on our words per minute. Like once a week, we got tested. So like you were kind of put you in the mindset to perform on accuracy and speed. And it stuck with me my whole life. Like it ended up being a really useful skill. But we didn't even really have home computers back then, right? That's how old I am. So we were on typewriters, like electronic typewriters. Have you ever thought some light chest flies with a big stretch might open your shoulders? No. Because if that was the case, then just incline benching would do the same thing. Right? I mean, the incline bench would technically do the same thing. Morning, Coach. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing good, Rufio. I'm doing really good. I got some minor wins yesterday. I need wins like that every day. Like yesterday, someone hired me to just do their coaching accountability. I don't have to write anything. They're paying me $100 a month just to do accountability, which is something that I'd never done before. Like I do the diet accountability too as a side thing. But someone hit me up and they already paid. So I'm going to work them in, and all they got to do is send me their workouts, and I got to make them accountable for their workouts that they write themselves. Beautiful. Also got my Facebook bonus yesterday. So they throw out a little thing like if you get 3 posts with this hashtag that give you a certain reach, we'll give you a cash bonus. And they give you 7 days to do it. Each time I did it in 4, and I hit it yesterday. So it's like, all right. I mean, obviously everything is monetized, but you guys know what I mean when they throw those little bonuses out. It's like they dangle a little carrot in front of you. Hit these metrics and we'll give you an extra X amount of money. You know, as Lars, I don't know. Like I don't have a link to his stuff. I could unban him if I have a link. That's the thing, you know. No, the hashtag it's different for every profile. No, the hashtag is FB lifestyle actually. Have says following yesterday's chat, I put together a 3-day-a-week full body program. Looking forward to getting into it next week. Here's the thing, guys. Let me see if I can unban Lars. Like if it has some of his old stuff up here, I can manually unban, but it may have deleted all his posts. That's the issue. But I mean, all he has to do is DM me. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. So if someone really wants to be unbanned, I've put up a post telling you all it takes. I tried to unban everybody. I legitimately did. I put up the screenshot, like showing you guys that's normally where the list is. I deleted it and it did a one-time. Normally it just repopulates it. It didn't repopulate it. Right? So since it didn't repopulate it, I just assumed it deleted everyone. Like it's delete all. All right. I'm not seeing anything from Lars up. Scrolling back a week in my main comment feed. So I don't know if you guys know, but I use the Creator Studio for everything. I don't use tubes through any other method but the Creator Studio. It's my entire interface. So I don't see what non-creators see when you log in. It's like it's not how I'm laid out. I'm purely a content creator with all the tiered tools for a silver tier person. So that's the only way I know how to use the tubes. No, it looks like it removed all his stuff. So if I don't have a link to Lars, I can't do it. If someone likes Lars enough, you could DM me a link to his thing. Poor Lars. Lars on Mount Olympus was Ziz, Avicii Harambe, and Charlie Kirk, right? Poor Harambe. The shot heard around the world. Rest in peace, Harambe. True American hero. G.I. Joe. Oh, man. Yeah. So I'll keep going super hard on the dips and tricep work and see if that bench keeps coming up. The 315 for 4 felt pretty clean too this last workout, right? Like it didn't feel like it was 100% of everything I had. I don't know that I had a 5th, but the 4th didn't feel like a max. It felt real close. So we need to keep working that up. We need to get that up to 10. I need to bench 315 for 10 reps. That's what we need. That's a worthy goal. What do you think, Ted? Coach, try to get to a 315 for 10 reps on the bench. I think you have 5. I may have had 5. It felt good though. You ever return to competitive? Hey Rufio, why do you ask questions to which you already know the answer? It's not like I haven't answered this question 1,000 times. Scott, could you tell Rufio the answer to the question? I'm surprised Rufio doesn't already know. There's no way you don't know the answer. Does anybody care to tell Rufio the answer to the question? I think pre-workouts are garbage. I think they're a scam, and they should be illegal. I guess I'm going to have to answer the question one more time. Do I just need to make a post every day? I should just make a daily post. That will save a lot of trouble. All right. Yes, I 100% will compete in powerlifting again one day. However, I will not announce ahead of time that I'm preparing for a meet or where it will be. Okay. That needs to just be a daily post. I'm just going to start every live stream with that. It'll save a whole lot of trouble. I need to create a frequently asked questions. No, I will not tell you guys the when or where until after the fact, like I did at the last 3 meets. All right. Squat 500, dead 600 at a lighter weight. I don't know, man. That's asking a lot. Let's see. I don't know about if I can deadlift 600 again. Like I haven't pulled 600 in a couple of years. Just returned to a stream with a gold medal, right? I mean, we've done that before. Sit down with the medal on. I should hang all my medals on the wall. I got shorted a medal, by the way. The USPA still owes me a medal that I didn't collect. And I'm still miffed about that. Because of the meet ran over and I had to catch my flight home. And I was worried about missing the flight, so I couldn't stay for the ceremony. And they promised me they would mail it to me, and they didn't get one of my medals, one of my golds. And technically, it should have been 2 medals for that meet, and I didn't get either one. I mean, I've got like 3 medals from them, but they technically owe me 2 medals. I need to contact them again about it. It was just an issue of the meet ran 2 or 3 hours over what I expected it to, what it was planned on. And I didn't want to miss my flight home, because it was in another city. Right. I think it was the one up just outside of Dallas. Right, because I did one outside of San Antonio with them, then I did the one up in Dallas, and I did the one here in Spring. It's right over in the Woodlands. But yeah. You know what sucked for that San Antonio one? Right? You guys know that because of weather, my flight got canceled and I had to stay overnight. And here's the thing. I will never fly American again if I have another choice. All right. I will never fly American Airlines again. United is my preferred. I mean, I'll take Delta as a second if it's if United is not an option. But so here's how they did us, right? All our flights got canceled, so then they comped us rooms, right? But it took, and then I didn't have any of my clothes, and it was getting cold outside, so I had to stand out in shorts and a t-shirt in freezing weather, waiting for these taxis to take us to the hotel. Okay. for flight in the morning. I wish I would have just slept in the terminal. So this was leaving the state championship where I set those 198 state records, right? First meet coming back after like 8 years off the platform. It took them 4 hours to get us to the hotel. Some of us out there waiting for these vehicles that were going to take us to the hotel, they were booking us for free. And they gave us a meal voucher and everything too, but all the food was closed by the time we got there. So I got to use it the next day in the terminal for like a salad. But it took them 4 hours to get us to the hotel. Some of us stood outside for an hour and a half in the freezing cold, with all of our luggage already checked, by the way. So I didn't have a jacket or anything. For an hour and a half, then we get to the hotel, and by the amount of time it takes for the round trip, I got to sleep exactly 2 hours. I got a quick shower. I got a 2-hour nap and had to be back over to a taxi that took an hour to get us back to the airport to get checked in for the next flight. Like one of those, like, yeah, you guys could have just given us some extra money. So, and it's like, because I've had that happen once before with American, and I chose not to do the comp room, but I just powerlifted, right? I just set state records. I had done a big water cut and then a refeed. I was beat up. I'm like, man, I do not want to sleep on this terminal floor, because I've done that before one time due to like a tornado. So a layover in Dallas, Fort Worth before. I've slept in the terminal overnight to get my next flight in the morning. And I'm like, I don't want to sleep on the floor after a powerlifting meet. I just don't, so I took the room, but it ended up being a total for the round trip back and forth ended up taking like 5 hours so that I could get a quick shower and sleep in a bed. For 2 hours, I had to set my alarm and be back out to catch the taxi back out. Right? They're like, well, you'll get a continental breakfast with it. Dude, the continental breakfast was not even a full continental breakfast. And it was a nice hotel, but it was too early. So, it's like, oh, we've got some Rice Krispies and coffee. It's like, fucking kidding me. It's like, I at least want a blueberry muffin out of it, you fuckers. And sorry, I was just coming out of a powerlifting meet refeed. So. And it was back on my diet after that. But I'm like, man, I at least wanted maybe a blueberry muffin or something out of it. No, like we've got some Rice Krispies, Fruit Loops, and coffee, because the continental breakfast isn't fully open yet. And it was supposed to be a continental breakfast with it, since they're comped the room. And I mean, it was a night, don't get me wrong, it was a really nice room, but it was 2 hours. Slept 2 hours, and I had to take it back out here at 4:30 in the morning to catch this taxi back. In-laws wanted to cancel and rebook a flight with a canceled window. Let me double check Facebook real quick. American said they wouldn't get a refund for no reason, so they were never mind. American canceled and gave a 10%. Dude, I won't fly with them again. Like, I'm done. I'm done with that airline. And it was the worst part, like getting our rebook. I was in the one line, and the dude just turned his one line off and walked away. It didn't even tell us you guys merged with the next one. He just turned the computer off and turned and walked off. While there's 3 lanes, like 30 minutes into rebooking people, they had 3 lanes open for the rebook. He just turned it and walked away, didn't say anything. They're like, what do we do? And they didn't even answer us. So we had to merge the lines in. Like, wow. Like, my shift is over. I'm done. Like, didn't even tell us, oh, this one's closing. Merge. You guys need to merge these lines together. He just turned and walked away. Dude didn't say anything. Just blew and walked off. And this was the customer service desk they had there, knowing all of our flights had just got canceled and we're all needing rebooks and room comps. Whereas in United, I had them have to do one time to where they had to change a flight. They bumped me up to a higher quality seat, like up front. They put me right behind first class on an economy seat. Right. And then Delta always gives you good seats when you, like they had me in their system too, because I'm a big dude. I'm like, I'll do the exit door. They always give you a good seat if you're a big dude with an exit, and you'll take the exit door. Always. Pro tip right there. It's already done, Rufio. My car's already been, everything's been paid. So they've refunded my insurance, or they're refunding insurance a whole month that I paid. No, the other, I'm not going to go into details, Rufio. My private life stays off here. There's going to have to be lawsuits. And so I'm not going to discuss it further because that's a legal issue. But no, they've already issued payment for the total loss on the car. Like it's already been done. Because I owe $22,000 on the car still. Big Perk says I was in line and a dude's flight got canceled. He was trying to reroute to a different flight, and the worker was going back and forth. An hour later, they booked him in the same flight he requested. Wow, great news! Almost missed my flight. Wait on him because they only had one worker. Rufio, it's going to have to be insurance. The problem is the guy may be catching a felony out of it, so he may be going to prison. So that's why I can't really discuss that further. Like, makes sense. Like, I need to just not discuss it. Stay out of the legal process. I don't think people realize that doing public stuff too much, like you can help people's trial. Like, you don't want to do that. That's a really bad idea. All right. You know? So just an FYI. Like you publicize someone's trial too much, their lawyer may be able to get a mistrial and just get it thrown out because they can't get a fair trial now due to media exposure. That's a thing, you know? So I ever get in a situation, I hope my haters make a fuss about it. Make a big old fuss, please. I'll use it to get them to drop the charges, mistrial. If you're smart, you can pull it off. A good lawyer will pull it off for you. What's on for you today? Anything special? Squat, bench, deadlift, lots of tricep work. Other than that, a chill day. I'm going to do a lot of meal prep today, though. It's going to be a heavy cooking day. It's just going to, honestly, today, a little bit of client work. I'm just going to train, do a lot of meal prep today. I've been doing a lot of cleaning the last few days, though. Right? I'll do some cleaning. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with my Christmas stuff. I don't want to put it all up alone, and I have all of it down. I might have to do a Christmas party to put my tree up. That's messed up. You invite people over to put your tree up, you know. All right. But let's keep that off. Let's stick to fitness type stuff, guys. All right. That sounds right. And how much food do you prep at a time? I'm probably going to do about 10 or 11 pounds of chicken breast a day. Mainly, I just run out of tray space, like all at once. Like, I'm eating so much protein right now that I really do need to be, like, that's not even a week's worth, so that's the problem, you know. So let's assume I'm averaging almost 2 pounds a day. So, I mean, I'm probably going through 12, I'll be going through 12 to 14 pounds of chicken breast a week. It's a lot. People said, well, coach, I have to do a round on my patients. I'll have to catch you later. Have a good day and a good session. Thank you. So it's mainly just me cooking the meat. Like, other stuff doesn't need to be prepped. We just run the Instant Pot for the rice. I mean, right now my diet's pretty straightforward. It's chicken, rice, vegetables, and then protein, like Greek yogurt mixes, protein powder mixes, little cantaloupe. All right, I try to do at least half a cantaloupe a day right now. But I do, like, even my vegetables, I go for about 2 pounds of broccoli every day in my rice. You know. All right. So I would say for a lot of you guys who don't use freedom units, you probably need at least a minimum of a kilo of fruits and vegetables a day. I don't do cheat meals really. I mean, cheat meals for me are special occasions, you know, right? Like, I don't advocate you eating a cheat meal by yourself. Like, cheat meals it's a holiday. It's a special event. It's a social gathering, right? Like, you shouldn't be sitting around eating cheat meals in your house. Like, don't tell me you're serious about your health and fitness if you eat pizza at home. I started eating more potatoes and strings. There you go. And it's not even about being ripped, because guys forget that. They're always like, well, is that what gets people ripped? No, dude. To get ripped, you probably need drugs and a crazy strict diet. It's nothing to do with eating healthy. But your training is going to be better. You're going to be healthier. You're going to recover better if you eat all clean, right? You're still not going to be ripped if you're not going down to poverty calories, like, unless you do 10 hours of cardio a day. So you got to be realistic. But in terms of recovery, blood markers, health markers, inflammation, you shouldn't be eating junk food, right? Yeah, so I mean, you'll see the amount of food I'm talking about, and it's like, are you bulking? Like, no, I'm not gaining weight at all. Like, that's maintenance. Like, that's maintenance, dudes. No, potatoes are a solid choice, Scott. Definitely a solid choice. A fridge tour, not really. I don't want to give a fridge tour. My fridge would be pretty boring. Be like, he's got a lot of Greek yogurt. There's a bunch of chicken in there. There's some cantaloupes, some Fairlife milk. I mean, it's not very exciting. Some condiments and odds and ends that have accumulated, but I don't think my fridge would be exciting. There's a bunch of bell peppers in the veggie drawer. There'd be some dude masturbating to my fridge tour. Oh my God, we got to see something besides his office. I'm a spooge everywhere. Trolls would make videos all about it while they all bap to it. Let's see. Yay. My beautiful kitchen. You guys can't even see it. Can you see it? Does it show? Not really. Not on here, not in this light. No. No, I don't have any potatoes right now in there. No, it's pretty much just rice is my staple carb. Do you believe that Caitlyn Jenner got Paris pregnant for Carter? What? I don't know about that. Dad, when I party, I drink. I don't think you should drink vodka at all. Like, I'm even more anti-alcohol now than I was before. Just after the stuff I've seen in the last couple of weeks, like, I don't even think I can hang out with people drinking at this point. You know, I don't even want to. I don't want to be around it at all. Like it, I've reached a point with. I already have been very anti-alcohol in here, just in general. But I've reached a point with just the recent stuff. I don't want to see alcohol. I don't want to watch another person drink. I don't want to hang out with someone who's drinking. I just don't want it anywhere the fuck around me. Like, I just want it to go away. You know, it's definitely not welcome in my home. I have a strict policy on that. No alcohol is allowed in my home. But friends and guests know that. Right? You know, subtle signs of fat loss that are missed. I don't understand the question. What would you do if a broke into your house with a slab of beer? I don't know that term. What do you mean? My bros wouldn't do that. They already know alcohol's not welcome in my house. I would just look at him and say, put that shit back in the car. Dude, you don't bring, there's no alcohol in my house. And that's the end of it. I don't think any of them would do it. But if they did, that would be pretty much my response. No, go put that in your car. You're not bringing that in here. Yeah. Right. No, it wouldn't even be an issue. Right? I wouldn't hang out with people who would disrespect another person's home like that. Hey Dan, you're allowed to talk about them. I don't know anything about psychedelics. Meaning, I'm just going to look at you and be like, okay, that makes sense. Like, I don't know why they would be a topic of conversation in here. Right? Meaning, you'd be talking in a stream of a person who doesn't do psychedelics and knows literally nothing about them and has no interest in knowing anything about them. So essentially, you would just be talking to the other mushroom heads or whatever in the chat, if there happens to be one here. Y'all would just be typing to each other back and forth. Thoughts on the UFC coming up over the weekend? I don't have any thoughts about it, since I don't really follow UFC. You know. But doctor, as far as your other question, like subtle signs of fat loss that are, well, what do you mean? I don't really can't say I understand the question. Would you eat a dish knowing it was cooked with wine? I don't know, Alan. I mean, it's been cooked out, but I also don't eat a lot of really processed stuff, so I don't know. I mean, the alcohol's been cooked out. Like, I'm not going to freak out over something like that, but I'm also not standing around eating a bunch of refined foods and things like that. So the odds that I'm going to be in that situation is pretty low. You know, if I do go somewhere and I'm having barbecue or a steak, they probably didn't put wine in it. What do you mean, why not? Are you asking why I don't watch UFC? I just don't enjoy it. I don't find it interesting. You know, just like I don't watch the East Enders over there in that UK. It's just not interesting to me. You know, I'm not knocking anyone for what they enjoy watching. By the way, you know, you're allowed to enjoy what you enjoy for entertainment. Just to clarify, sometimes you can be losing fat and not realize it. You look the same in the mirror, but see some videos mentioning your breath will smell different, etc. Yeah, no, yeah, that's, I still don't understand. What do you mean? Eat, yeah, I still have no idea what you're talking about, doctor. Are you talking about someone who's trying to lose fat? What? Give me a context. I don't really understand what you're asking at all. What kind of routine would you prescribe for a martial artist? I would prescribe a routine based upon their individual needs as an athlete and a lifter. I mean, you have one in here already. You have a client who's a martial artist in the comments already. And we've run multiple types of programs for him. So that's not the criteria by which we prescribe a program. The criteria is what are the individual needs of the athlete. It could be a full body program. It could be conjugate, you know. Scott says he watches boxing, but not UFC. Yeah. I think it's reckless for gyms not to own a reverse hyper machine for their members. It should be mandatory in order to open a gym to protect members' spine and recovery. While I like this idea, and I've jokingly said the same, I feel like most people still wouldn't know how to use it. I've had someone say, "Yeah, in my gym, I see the reverse hyper being used as people to store their water bottles on all the time." They have no clue what to do with it. Unfortunately. I've also been to a gym that had 3 of them. Walked into one that had 3. Broadly speaking, within the community, kettlebells seem to be very popular. They're useful. However, I'm not sure I buy it and feel you would have greater success with a barbell. You have any thoughts on this? That seems really strange. Are you telling me they're not using barbells? They're only using kettlebells? Well, that's stupid as fuck. Now, do I think kettlebells for a martial artist can be a great supplement to their barbell work? Absolutely. But as a replacement for barbells? No, that doesn't make any sense at all. Like zero. Makes no sense. There's no logic behind this. But do I think kettlebells themselves can be useful for fighters? Absolutely, as a tool. But barbell training should be your base training for almost every sport. All right. Who's the best overall athlete on Team Blaha? Currently, would probably be Ted right now. Keep in mind, I've been doing this a long time with a lot of athletes who rotated in and out. I mean, I have athletes who I've coached who I haven't heard from in over 4 years at all. Not a peep. You know, we've been doing this a little while. You know, right? Dan says, I agree. It took me years to come to this conclusion. It shouldn't have taken you more than 3 minutes to come to this conclusion. I think it's mostly pushed by Strong First. And while they do, I don't know who Strong First is. And while they do support different and mixed modalities, they also sell kettlebell only programs, which is ridiculous. Right. But no, I mean, for a lot of fighters, kettlebells can be great supplemental tools. Like I can look at this and say, yeah, it makes sense, right? But you can't replace barbell training for just getting crazy strong. You can't. Nothing competes with it. Right? Barbell training is king for getting really strong. Kettlebells are really inefficient as a primary training modality also. How many thousands of dollars would you have to spend and how much floor space? Well, no, Rufio, for certain movement patterns and things. But I mean, think about trying to get really strong with kettlebells and to progressively overload. Think about how much money and space you would need for a full set of kettlebells to even try to come even close to barbell. Right? Think about the sheer floor space. For you to have a pair of kettlebells in 5-pound increments all the way up to 300-pound kettlebells, what's the price tag got to be like on that? And if someone says, well, you don't need 300-pound kettlebells to get strong, I'm going to disagree. If you're replacing barbells with it, you have to have 300-pound kettlebells. Because you're going to have to deadlift one in each hand and so on and so forth. I mean, how are you squatting? You're going to have to find a way to get a pair of 250-pound kettlebells into position. And if dudes are like, well, I'm not lifting that sort of weight, then don't tell me your legs are strong. If you're only using a 100-pound kettlebell in each hand for your squats, you're not fucking strong. You are weak. Well, I'm doing 600 rep sets. Well, you're going to have to. You know, sorry, dude, but a 100-pound kettlebell in each hand for a set of 20. You really think that your force production is optimal in your legs? It's decent, but you're not strong. Come on, guys. And that's the problem. Do you ever do rucking, weightless walking? I used to all the time on camera. I have a 50-pound rogue vest. I just don't do it anymore. Now I just run. Yeah, I agree. The heaviest bell I have is 40 kilograms. And while heavy, it obviously doesn't do the job of a barbell. Because I think running works better. Did you saw that one study on weight vest walking showed it doesn't even burn more fat? Like, geez. Because doctor, there's just no point in me throwing it on when I could just go run. So for overall athleticism, I prefer running at this point. That's my main cardio. I just run. I do sprint with my sleds sometimes. Like I do that 2-3 days a week on camera. But I run on camera. All my running is done in streams. Your thoughts on closed grip supinated chin-ups versus the shoulder width grip for biceps development? Well, that's a redundant. All chin-ups are supine grip. That's a redundant statement. A supine grip pull-up is called a chin-up. All right. It's going to depend on your individual shoulder structure. Is one of those going to work the bicep more than the other? Probably not. It's going to be a question there of what feels better for your overall shoulder health, things like that. I mean, by closed grip, I'm assuming it's still close enough. It's not limiting range of motion. Like if you're all the way in like this, then that's just dumb, right? This is just putting stress on your shoulders and wrists for no benefit. But I mean, if you mean closed grip like this, right, versus an actual slightly wider, it's going to be a lot of preference. I did do some of the closed grip a little bit. Those were mostly more on a neutral grip, though. But I used to rotate the grips around. Is 80 kilograms times 10 decent for incline bench pressing? Yeah, it's decent. I used to do weight vest walking in the Army. Definitely does have benefits over general walking. I've noticed for myself in terms of VO2 max and muscular endurance, the joint gain could happen. I mean, I've done plenty of rucking. I've done like hour rucks on camera before with a 50-pound vest. But honestly, running does more for my conditioning. Way more. Way more. I am way fitter since I've been running than when I was doing rucking. You know. And I would say that to people, like, if you really want to be fit, you probably need to run. It would be a good idea. And people say, well, you can't be strong and jacked and run. It's like, I'm about to turn 49 years old. I run 3 or 4 days a week. And I deadlift 500 pounds for work sets 3 times a week, just fine. Like I do rep work. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I throw 500 pounds on the bar and I do rep work with it on the deadlift. And I get up and run the next morning. Come on, guys. Let's get in shape. Take care of your body. Eat a good diet. Get proper sleep. It's fine. Right? It's kind of like I've said with people, like people get, we're getting soft as a society, and people are just afraid to do things they need to do. And that's why I've kind of stressed that. Have your knees held up. I do barefoot running, so knees are never an issue. Hey, Alan, I already answered that to you last time. Alan, you asked that in the last stream, and I already answered you, by the way. So I've literally only done a 1 mile run once. There, coaches go, what's up, every makes Western world less soft. Your back inscriptions. How do you see yourself exercising in 10 years? You think would be the same? I mean, obviously some stuff will change. Are you asking me, do I have a plan for how I plan on changing it? Or are you asking me, will it most likely change? Let's go with the latter. It will probably change. Do I have an exact plan? No. So is that a fair answer? No, I still like to do 5Ks pretty often. I did. It's just that a lot of mornings I'm just not always up for running. I got other stuff on my mind I want to get done. And so a lot of times it's like, well, let me just go out and just get a run to make sure that I do something. Right. So if you caught it yesterday, why did I do a 1 mile run? Because I didn't want to run. I got up and said, I don't feel like running, but it was a scheduled run morning. And we don't miss workouts. Hey, Rufio, I'm not going to put energy into that that scenario. Like, even that's how you create bad shit in your life. You need to stop doing that. I'm not even going to read your question out loud. Like, this is how you self-program failure and problems in your life, by even thinking about stuff like that. All right. So what I did, Alan, because I didn't want to run, I'm like, instead of not running, let me just run faster. Let me see if I can hit a PR. Does that make sense? Like, I didn't want to run, and I wanted to get back to getting some projects and stuff done. I'm like, so let's just run faster so we can get back to the projects. Let's get up and force myself to run fast and see if I can get a PR instead of skipping the run. Right? So I used that as motivation. So I needed to change my mindset for the run, because I'm like, I just don't feel like running. But I'm like, well, if I don't feel like running, I better change something in the mindset with it and run anyways. So I'm like, aha, let's just get inspired. Let's see if I can PR my mile time. Make sense? And so therefore I just flip my mindset to something competitive. Let's progress. And that, re-spark the mindset and get up and try to hit a mile PR. So I did, instead of just skipping. But some of it is fatigue, because I'm trying to push some of my lifts back up a little bit. And with the longer running, with all the deadlifting, I was getting a little hamstring overuse. So there was a little bit of fatigue management to deal with, but it's all good. But as far as the knees, I run barefoot, so knees not an issue at all. Like, I don't notice anything in my knees at all. My knees don't get inflamed. They don't hurt. So I would describe my knee pain or discomfort at 0. I don't know that Lars is unbanned now. I just did a mass unban, but I don't think it unbanned. A bunch of people are saying they're still banned. All right. It's a mindset. I guess with bone density and trying to reduce certain risk factors, falls that people develop into different life stages, which exercises you think are beneficial? Squats and deadlifts. So every old person should be squatting and deadlifting. Like, if bone density and falls and injuries are your biggest concern, you need to be doing big standing exercises. That should be your focus. In fact, that's all you should do. So if that is your only goal, like if you say, I am lifting weights for bone density and to reduce fall injuries, there is no reason for you to do anything but standing heavy exercises. That should be 100% of your training if that's your only goal. That's it. Yeah, it's a technical YouTube thing. That was an awesome takedown by Greg. I didn't even see it. Yeah, technical difference bring him back so far. If someone had a link to his profile, I could unban him manually. Like, if I have a link to your channel, I can manually unban you, because I can go to your channel and click the unban, like on your actual channel itself. So, right. But I don't know why he felt the need to go there. Like, people know how I feel about Second Amendment. So it's like, at this point, it's just poking a bear. Like, if you take someone who they're not super political and they have one specific issue that that they say, I'm willing to die on this hill, like this particular topic is worth giving your life over, and they try to argue with you on it, it's probably not going to go well. And I think, what's up, Brian? How you doing? Regarding squat variations, it matter which one you choose. You just asked me to write you a whole book. Hey, Dad, that is not the question you think it is. Your question just asked me to write you a 300-page book. The answer to that question would take 20 hours, unless you're looking for a yes or no. So the obvious answer is yes. Yes, it matters. Yeah, that's my one issue. And I think, because even your question you're probably about to ask is going to jump into a deep discussion of joint angle specificity. We can very quickly go into a very deep discussion of joint angle specificity, knee joint angle relative to bar position. We can get complicated very, very, very fast. We're probably at a coaching level question. We're probably at consultation level when you start asking about squat variations. Because even people ask them, like, well, what grows the most quad? I'm like, it's relevant upon your angle of knee flexion. Yeah. So, but here's the problem. And I think what people need to understand, non-Americans are never going to be able to enter this debate with Americans, because you don't understand our history or our laws or our culture regarding firearms. You're not going to be able to successfully argue with an American or see our viewpoint on it. You're not going to be able to make a point to us. Does that make sense? You are literally so far outside of the cultural context that your debate sounds fucking moronic to us. Like, we're just like, you literally don't know what you're talking about. Or don't see how or why. It's like, right, exactly. You don't see how or why. So you have no point of starting point of the discussion. Yeah, arguing this with Americans equivalent of entering a debate unarmed, right? Because you don't have the background knowledge to even enter the argument. Hey, doctor, no, I disagree. Specifically on firearms, of understanding the mindset of firearm owners in America. Do you think the rest of the Western world actually understands and is capable of having a conversation with us about it? Do you think that someone who has never lived in the US and grew up with this culture will successfully have a discussion with a Second Amendment advocate that will convince them to turn their guns in? Do you think this is even possible? Like, do they have the breadth of knowledge to understand the whys and the intricacies? Ryan says, I try to keep my political views off the internet, but I'm definitely pro Second Amendment, right? Yep. Right. And I think a lot of it is because anyone here say anti-Second. And I think what they don't understand is the same arguments we have here when someone says the silly stuff. Well, you don't need, well, oftentimes they don't even know what hunting is about either. So I'll give you a perfect example. Well, you don't need an AR-15 for hunting. Really, I've done most of my hunting with AR-15s, but let's set that aside. So again, they already don't know anything about firearm culture. They're already profoundly ignorant. Like, to say something like, well, you don't need an AR, it's like, really, what do you think we hunt with in Texas? Like, what do you think the most popular hunting rifle is? The AR pattern rifle is by far the most popular hunting rifle in Texas, for example, for both white-tailed deer and feral hogs. That is number one, top of the list. Nothing else even close in terms of popularity. Number two, the Second Amendment isn't about hunting. The Second Amendment exists as a protection against the government. That is the express purpose. The reason it was written into the law is specifically protection against the government, right? It is to prevent tyranny. And again, people make the nonsense of, well, do you really think that's going to matter against tanks and planes? That's not how you hold a country. That is not how you hold a country. So let's say, for example, the U.S. decided that they want to just lock down the state of Texas. Let's just use Texas as an example. Let's say our government decides they're going to lock down Texas and put it under martial law, the whole state. They decide they want to be tyrants. They don't like what we're doing. We've gotten too unruly and they want to lock it down. That doesn't involve nukes and bombing cities. That means they send 3 million troops in, boots on the ground, to go door to door. Just like we did in Iraq. Right? That's boots on the ground. That is going door to door. That is infantry out on the street. And yes, in that context, 20 million AR-15s comes in handy. So right, I answer the door with a 45, actually. No, I keep one by my bed. I have one in my office in here. But yeah. And as Ryan says, it also protects the mainland from a military invasion. Right, so a perfect example. You're not going to invade the U.S. Right? And as Ryan pointed out, it is a protection from military invasion. So take any country in the world. And so we come back over to the idea of boots on the ground, right? So let's just say that China decides the U.S. military is weak enough that it can hit the U.S. and invade. Do you think they really want to try to come in and hold the mainland of the U.S.? Like, can you imagine trying to invade and hold Texas? Think about the type of military force that it would require to successfully invade and hold martial law in Texas alone. I'm going to ask a very simple question. Do you think a military of 5 million infantrymen could successfully do it? Right. And that's the idea. Yeah, 2 A's for liberty to reduce risk of tyranny. The threat of civilian uprising should keep government in check. Right. And that's the whole point. And then we come over and people say, well, what about mass shootings? You're the cause of mass shootings. Unarmed people, you're the cause. You allow it to happen. So people who live in a place like this, who have the ability to carry and be trained, nothing stopping you from doing it, you're the cause of mass shootings. Crazy people are going to exist. You have the obligation to stop them. That is your job. It's your fault. And that's how I view it. All right, we don't get rid of cars and people use cars as well. Maybe we should. So mental illness being a big cause. Right. Right. Yeah, treating mental illness. How about instead of endorsing mental, I'm not going to go into something that's going to get me canceled, but I think I think there's a big red flag here of one demographic specifically that goes really crazy that we've decided isn't a mental illness. And it very clearly is. But you can't say that now. All right. Yeah, we're all thinking. Yeah. How much of that has been a cause of some of this? We've had a few of those, you know. So, been a cause of a few mass shootings, you know. And we're going to pretend that it's not a mental illness. With a suicide rate 20 times higher than any other demographic. Right. So, you know, again, address mental illness. Yeah, reality still matters, objectivity still matters, you know. It's the emperor's new clothing, right? And that's strange too to even say that. Then people are like, "Well, you're hating," but I'm not hating. I'm concerned with a mentally unstable demographic that's not being treated, and people are pandering to it. Right. Right. People claim hate to try to shut down logical arguments. Right. And that's kind of the idea. But people throwing stuff at me, people actually accuse me of being racist and stuff, and I'm actually really and truly not. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, I can assure you, I don't wake up in the morning and worry about somebody's skin color. That's the last thing on my mind. I got more important stuff to worry about than what color somebody is, guys. Just stop. Oh, God. All right. All right. They accuse you of what they are, right? It's bad when the New Orleans area lots of homeless that are obviously mentally unstable. What about demographic changes? What about demographic changes? That's an absurdly vague question, Doctor. That's an absurdly vague question. What about demographic changes? Well, demographics change all over the world all the time, is the only answer I could give. You may want to be a little more specific. Like, where are we going with this? And it's after 7. I've probably got to get started training soon. It's the first I've heard of this. Somalians taking over Texas. What? I've never even heard this before. That's literally the first time I've ever heard anybody say that. Oh, yeah, I'm completely unaware of any such thing. So your largest demographics in Texas are Latino is the largest group, and then Caucasians are the next largest group. Somalians aren't even a statistic, I don't think. Oh gosh, very strange. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wind all this down. Though I'm gonna shut down the Facebook. right. What do you mean, doctor? No, dude. Most Latinos I know vote Republican, actually. All right. But I think we're out of here. So I will catch you guys later and get some training done here soon.